Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging, because that's what we're doing. We are FDR, and we are logging. Very simple. Simple. If I remember correctly, in the last episode, we were just skidding up our last little bit of wood. I think I only got one pile left up there, so I was thinking to go grab that. Plus, I also want to... Oh, you know what? I don't have my terrible, random... background music on here. One second. I have where are you? There it is. Let's not turn that up too loud though. Okay, perfect. Gotta have our background music so that our brain keeps working. So yeah, we're going to get rid of this last little bit of wood, and then I plan to probably go clean up some of those bits. I'm also going to start loading with a new grapple. I don't know if I'm going to do that in this video. I might make some more processor piles before we start. Now, I moved my other buncher somewhere, and I can't actually remember where I put it, so we're going to have to figure that out. I'll just tab around until I actually locate it. So question of the day. I get this one a lot. I'm pretty sure I've addressed it in previous videos, but we will address it yet again. The question is regarding live heel booms. So a live heel boom. So basically what a live heel boom is, for those who do not know, we'll look at the skidder here. So this skidder has a dangle head that dangles around. In some places, not so much where I live anymore, they don't use dangle heels very often. A few outfits I know that use them for like hoe chucking and stuff, but not super popular anymore. But down in the southern, kind of, not even southern, south of me, I guess would be southern to me, states like Oregon, parts of the southern US, and that they have something called a live heel boom. And basically what a live heel boom is, you have a dangle style grapple like this, but on the heel, attached to the actual section of where the grapple is, there's another piece with a solid chunk. So it looks like this solid chunk, but it has a little brace on it. And that little brace is usually used to pin the butt ends of the log. So you go to pick up the logs, and as you lift, the butt end of the log goes up into the brace, and that little heel piece, that brace, will actually dig into the bottom of the logs and support it, so that you can basically use it as a pivot point to lift your logs up. Now, this is a popular application, and I have tried it in the past multiple times, but unfortunately with this physics engine, it just doesn't work accurately. So what happens is when you go to pick up the logs, you can lift them and they'll hit against the brace, but the problem is once you swing side to side with your excavator, the logs will then slowly rotate and slip and fall out of the grapple. In real life, the friction and the bite from that heel rack will actually dig into the logs, so that when you're spinning, the logs don't really go anywhere. They stay stuck in there, both due to the bite of the teeth into the log and to the friction. Now, because this game has physics where all of these are solid, absolutely solid logs, there's no soft, the wood's not soft, you can't dig into it, there's nothing like that. What happens is the physics just slide on each other. I was trying to get a chainsaw here to clean this up. So they slide on each other, and they don't actually bite into anything. So you have no friction, you have no grip, you have no nothing. So the only version I've ever made that was slightly successful, but I still got lots of complaints about it, is I actually created an attachment that was the heel boom and the grapple in the same attachment. So it's just like an attachment with a big V-shaped heel boom. And what I did was I attached locking straps to the back side of the heel boom. So when you went to pick up the logs and you got them in place, you'd hit the locking straps and it would lock the logs to that heel. It worked, like absolutely it worked, but unfortunately it just was not very realistic. So I got lots of flack from the guys that work in those particular areas of the United States that use them, saying that's stupid that I have to use the locking straps every time I want the heel to work. And I said, I agree, I think it's stupid too, but that's the only way to make it work. And LTech, when LTech, I started working with that company, they have a few heel boomed machines, and they said, okay, well, we want you to bring back these heel booms and make them work. And I said, well, I can try. And I definitely did try to make it work. I got the locking strap on that. I think it's on there. Oh yeah, there it is. I brought them back and I tried them for a bit, and I got nothing but freaking complaints from people about the fact that they weren't acting realistically. And I didn't do the locking straps on those ones. I just did the normal ones. The other problem I had was detachment of the actual head. So as you're putting pressure down to pivot the logs, like in real life where you put all that weight on the heel, what would happen is the whole grapple would detach from the head, and it would come down like 2-3 inches of an invisible gap. And the only way to fix that was to add tremendous amounts of weight to the end of the log, or the end of the boom, sorry, and grapple. And the tremendous amount of weight needed to be able to hold the full weight of those trees was just not feasible at all with the weight of the machines, without making the machines like 20 gazillion trillion pounds, which they were for a while. We tried that. But unfortunately, heel grapples do not work properly. They do not work realistically. So they don't work at all. But I have tried multiple times to make it work. I'm going to put this skidder over here. We'll do speedy transportation here. And I don't know where we're going to haul. So I have this little trail that I'm cutting out with the buncher. We'll probably end up jumping on the buncher. And I cut this really long road, and I think we're going to scoot back over here. Because we're kind of right on the river's edge. My plan was to just butcher out this entire section of trees on the way back. So that's going to be a lot of logging stuff there. But we're not there yet. We'll finish up our piles here and get everything all cleaned up. So yeah, unfortunately, that did cause a bit of an array. I would love to be able to use the heel booms properly, but after all the complaints and all of the problems and the fact that I can't get them to work realistically in a way. Some people were able to make them work slightly. But what you would have to do is you'd have to move, like, so if I picked up a log, let's use this log as an example. In order for it not to fall out of the heel, I had to move like this slow as I rotated my head, because if I went like to swing it, all the logs would pop out of the heel, and no bueno. It was just stupid. So I wasn't a big fan of that. I didn't like it. And I know lots of fans didn't like it either. So yeah, with the physics engine, that's just the way it is. I've never found a way to accurately make it work, and I tried a lot of different methods and played with frictions and spring-loaded contraptions and all kinds of stuff in the physics to try to make that work. So in the end, I ended up just dropping the whole concept of doing heels because it just doesn't work. So again, I'm really glad to be able to record this new series because I can use it as reference points to go back to people who have that question. I can be like, oh, check out this episode. I talk all about it. Does that mean it'll never happen? I would say there's a lower percent chance it'll happen, but maybe in future versions of FS we'll have better control of the physics, or the physics will be greatly improved, and maybe we'll have the option of doing something like that. But the way the physics engine is right now, and the way it reacts to the rotational of your cab swing, I don't see it becoming a possibility, unfortunately. So sorry to the people that want heel booms, but they just don't work properly. And there's one thing I am really heavily about, and always have been about, which makes my equipment very popular, is that I'm all about getting functionality. Functionality. That is my main goal. In fact, functionality used to be my only goal. I didn't care what the machines looked like. They could be a square box. As long as it picked up the logs accurately, that's all I wanted. So now I feel the machine's quality have come up quite a bit over the years, and my functionality is still number one priority to me, though. I'd rather have something look ugly and work as opposed to look pretty and not work functionality-wise. Because the whole purpose of this for me is playing this simulator and having accurate reactions to stuff. And I think we've pretty much nailed that in terms of logging, or as close as we can get while playing a video game, because it feels pretty good. Is it perfect? No. Will it ever be perfect? Nope. If you want absolute perfection, you're going to have to go get a job in the real life forestry industry running heavy equipment, because there's lots of stuff that you can't simulate, at least not with this game. And again, not saying it'll never be possible. Maybe there'll be some breakthroughs in the physics engine in the future, or maybe there'll be some kind of new game that comes out, or who knows, right? Unfortunately, the logging world is a very niche market, so tailoring stuff to that little market is a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so I'm gonna actually transport this because we're actually done on the hill here. Thank the Lord. I'm gonna go over here. Ooh. So now we gotta decide what we want to do here. You know what I might do is I might actually just start. So we're gonna go into our landscaping thing and we're gonna paint out a little section here. So I think what I'm going to do is make this area here kind of our landing. And I'm going to do just shorts, and we're going to do roadside loading. So basically roadside loading, as we call it, is exactly how it sounds. We pile all the wood in a deck kind of like here in this line that I'm painting, kind of like in this area. And then all you have to do is park the loader on the side of the road and you load right onto the truck as he's going by. So the truck doesn't have to do any funky backing up, or you don't have to build any weird roads to do U-turn-y stuff. It's just right here, ready for action. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean this up here, get rid of these little grass blades. Sorry, it's first thing in the morning, so my brain is only functioning at about 10% of what it normally does, and that's a lot. That's a lot of effort. Oh, my pedal's stuck here. Okay, so I'm gonna park this guy here for now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my processor. Oops, I'm running the wrong way. Use my processor. I'm gonna backfall some of these trees a little bit just to give us some space. So let's get rid of these trees here. We're going to create kind of a little bit of a roadside deck. And we're just going to plunk these right on top of each other. So let's go about here. Helps if we turn the processor head on. And I'm going to lay them right about... That's probably comfortable for a roadside deck right there. Let's see if we can actually keep the deck even to where we want it to be. That'll be the next impressive point. And grab a couple more of these. And because we're going to be decking here, I should have done that with the buncher when I first came in. I probably just got lost on a tangent and drove off into the woods and didn't think about it. So like we got some wood here. The best thing I could probably do is bring over the loader to do it, deck it that way. And get a decking. So the new grapple that we're going to be using is the pulpwood grapple, which I never used to like that grapple, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of it now. Since I've made some modifications that actually grabs the trees more realistically, or at least more fun. There's a finite level between realism and actual fun. So I want the game to act realistically as much as possible with the physics, but at the same time, I want people to actually enjoy logging. I don't want it to be frustrating. If there's something I'm doing in real life that's easier, I want to be able to do it in here as much as possible. If it's harder than that, people aren't going to have fun, and I'm not going to have fun, and who's going to want to play this if they're not having fun, right? Choosing your time to play a game, you want it to remain a game. Alright, I think that'll be enough space for that bit there. It's kind of our ugly little pile. And I'm mixing these little fine tops in with the kind of bigger pieces because I don't really care. Yeah. I think what we'll end up doing is just walking back with the buncher and we'll cut another section out here. So why don't we just park this bad boy right here for now. And then we'll try some stuff with the skidder and see what happens here. Because this little pile I need to bring out a little bit. I don't know whether I should grab this pile first. No, we're just going to do it anyway. Just scoop these guys up here. And we're going to try to kind of dump them in here, I guess. This is normally why you deck before you start a pile, so that you're kind of got a better idea where you're going. So why don't we dump those right there for now. And we'll see if we can sneak through this little crack here without hitting any of the logs. This pile might be a little interesting to move because it's so close. I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. I kind of want to get all in one scoop here, but maybe we're out of luck. I'm trying to see if I can dump it and grab them all. Whoops. Hey, get free. Those are the joys of logging. Sometimes you just put yourself in a weird spot. So what I kind of would like to do is go like this, I think. And then we'll try to swing it back, I guess. And then I'll push it with the blade, I guess, and try to square it up. There we go. See, this is much better than listening to a time lapse, right? Sometimes. Sometimes. Oh, can't see what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that'll work. And then I'll just kind of keep bringing the wood out, kind of in that rough concept there, I guess. And there should be all kinds of little piles all over the place here to pick up, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Yeah, then basically what I'll do is I'll just kind of keep bringing it out and loading it and processing it right there. So what we should do, so we got a little bit of shorts over there, and so what I'm going to do, actually, we'll load this, we'll just get our shorts out of the way. Since we're starting on a new deck here, we might as well. New deck, new landing. Oh, I should clean up this stuff too. So what I like to do is I like to pile it all and then clean it up. But I think do we have a skid? Yeah, we have the skid steer. Let's do that first. Jumble brain, you never know what I'm gonna do. So I actually just updated this guy recently too. So it cuts the bits up a little bit more effectively. So we're gonna try it out here. It chews up some of it, makes other stuff disappear. Man, you should see the nightmare it is to play with the cut nodes on these things to get them working properly. I think I have like 14 cut nodes on this freaking thing to make it cut as good as it does. But man, just a bit of a nightmare. See, it's not even cutting that. You have to find an end. That's the key. If you really want to cut it, you have to find an end. The other thing you can do is use this thing to remove all the stumps. That's another handy one. Which I hope the creator of that developer controls makes that again in FS25. I almost don't even want to play FS25 until like a year in, when all this really cool stuff is modded in. Because I feel like we have a lot of the awesome tools already in this game, and it takes so much time. Sometimes the mod developers don't even continue on those mods anymore. One other mod I really loved was the Dirty Tire Tracks mod from FS19. Yeah, 19. And that modder doesn't do it anymore, but man, those were cool. And everywhere you drove, you'd leave like the dirty tracks and stuff. Like it would rip the ground up, kind of like how it's ripped up behind my skid steer here. And that was super cool. Like I absolutely just loved that. But unfortunately, yeah, that guy is didn't continue modding. I guess he gave it up or got out of the gig. Let's chop here. Oops. Is my grinder on here? Oh yeah, there we go. I like to grind away the bushes, it's fun. Nice. Now we get rid of all the little bits, and it's just less stuff to for the game to have to deal with, so it's good. Okay, so now we're done with this little guy. So what I'm going to do is, because I have shorts already on the truck, I'm not going to try to mix longs on there. We'll do longs in its own truckload. but I do want to use this new dangle grapple here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here next to this deck. And we're going to go grab our little dangle head here over by this other deck. And we'll see how many logs we can get on this truck. We should be able to get all of that onto what's remaining on the truck. Because that's probably like a bit of a bunk on that side, and then that'll top up what we got left for space. In theory. It's all big theory at the moment, so we'll see. And I'm probably going to try loading it from the side, I guess. It's not really the preferable way, but we'll just do it and see what happens. Make our adjustments here. That's another thing people don't realize. You need to hit G. I've said it enough times, but if you have to hit G on your keyboard to adjust that pitch angle of your tilt. So I usually put it so it's facing just a tiny bit back towards me, and then hit G again to lock it out. That way you're not rolling your grapple up and down all the time while you're operating. So we're gonna park like here. It's gonna be kind of a weird angle to load, but I think we can do it. This guy's all ready to go here. I wonder if I should back in. Yeah, maybe we should back in. Probably make our lives a little bit easier. I'm not super pro at backing up by any means, but we can try to make it work. Just micro adjustments. You want to get close, but not like crazy close here. I think what we'll do... Oops, that's a little bit far away from our load here. I think it's my pedals. Also, I'm fighting I have my feet on my pedals right now, and if I don't move them, it's fine, but sometimes I push onto the pedal not thinking about it, and it throws it off. There we go. Let's try that, see what happens. All right, here we go. So yeah, this is the dangle head grapple. I actually really like this one. Since it's been updated and the weights have been improved, it hangs onto the logs pretty efficiently. I don't know about that one on the bottom there, but somehow it's still hanging in there. Don't drop, little buddy. And you can do that. Yeah, see, that felt pretty good. I think we can get one more grab on there. We just gotta get the butts facing the right way. So let's grab just a little bite. And I need the butts facing towards the back. Ooh, that's a bit much. That might be a little bit much. Let's try like that. Even that might be a little bit much. We'll just top it up. It'll be a heavy load. But with the butts facing backwards, it should fit on there. Let's try that. Oh, that was pretty smooth. I like that. There we go. Perfect. So then what we're going to do is we'll pull the truck ahead a little bit. Just a wee bit. Right about yonder. And then we should be good to get the rest on there. In theory. Everything's in theory. But yeah, I really like this grapple. It grabs pretty efficiently, and it doesn't get all topsy-turvy like it used to. It feels almost like the real-life ones. The grapple's probably still a little bit big in terms of its sizing, but the machines can still handle it, and that's kind of the most important part. As long as the machines can handle the weight, that's the big one. It's not overdoing it. Ooh, it's a little tilted there, so we're going to do two facing this direction. So then what you're going to see is there's going to be a taper on the front here. So it looks like it's tapering. Kind of the front's a bit bulged out here. And we're going to give that a couple little love taps. And then what'll happen is we got to turn the butts the other way on the next grab because we don't want it building up a ramp facing the wrong direction. So we're going to whip this around. And then on this grab, we're going to have the butts facing the opposite direction. And we're going to load at the back of the rack first so that I can still see the front. And let those spill down a little bit there. Actually, we could probably give that just a little tap. And then we got a nice little pocket in the front here. So let's go like this and fill that little pocket up. And the less logs you have in these dangle grapples, the more unstable they are, because there's less grip on them. And since we don't have like a nice balancing chain to kind of lay down on them, we have to just kind of take it easy. I'll give that a little push. I still don't really like it, so we're going to go on the other side and give it a little tap. There you go, it feels better. There we go. Okay, so now the last one doesn't really matter which way it faces because it's pretty even. Like our roof on the load is pretty even. So I think I'll just do butts forward. It's just really not a big deal. And put it right about there. Yeah. That looks pretty good. And we loaded in probably half the time of using the other grapple, so it works out pretty good. Okay. Now we're going to lock and load here, or lock and unload, haha. And then we got that weird little pile of longs that I decided to try to do. At least we're not far from the mill here, jeez. I should have just hand chucked them over to the sell point. Go over here. This is the easiest way I find unloading, is across this way. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you can unload from either side, but I generally try to park the load so that the center between the load is where the loader actually is. So like, you know, you're lined up, so that's where the loader is in between the two bunks, because that way you kind of have a nice reach of both bunks while you're working, which is pretty sweet. Because then I can reach that bunk and I can reach that bunk, and they're both the same distance away from me, so you're not really like fighting with it. I parked a little bit close here, but that's okay. And then you just kind of take them off and throw them in the rack and build your little fort. If you kind of tilt your grapple kind of like this as you go onto the back and then turn it as you roll it up, you'll get a nicer grab on the logs as well. Because I see some people try to go straight down into the bunk, but because the logs are actually wider than the grapple are, you kind of have to pinch at the sides. So you kind of come in from the bottom even, and then as I go, I roll and tilt the bucket up, or the grapple up, sorry. That way you can kind of get a smoother grab, and it all comes out very efficiently. But like I said, because the whole bunk is wider than my grapple, if I try to grab straight down, you're not going to get a lot of the bite. So I go off axis like this, and as it comes up, I start to turn and I tilt, and then it rolls right up into the grapple like that. And you get a nice, big, healthy grab out of it. And it's really nice with these small sticks, like this really tiny pieces of wood. So this is on the Green River Valley map, and these small little trees are just a blast, because it's really easy to roll them up into the grapple, as opposed to the larger ones, larger diameter, you're kind of fighting with them a bit sometimes. Beauty. And then, like I said, when you're at the end of your bunk, I try to really gently scrape one side back to this side and then roll it up like so into this nice little grouping. All the loading stuff just comes with time and experience. It's really not hard to do. It just takes time practicing doing it, and then eventually it just becomes like muscle memory, and you don't even think about it anymore. It's like anything, but it's the little stuff, right? So like I said, if I try to grab from the top, it's not super great because I have to fight with it. But if I hook from the side like this and kind of curve my grapple, as I roll that grapple forward, it'll actually bite right into the deck, and you get all that juicy bite of wood right there. And that's kind of the name of the game, if that's what you're into. You just got to watch that stabilizer too. If you have a stabilizer on there like this one does, that big stabilizer off to the side, just watch where its placement is, because it's really easy to slam it up against the stakes and bend the stakes if you're not paying attention. I've never bent a stake yet in real life, but I've come pretty close with that stabilizer when I wasn't paying attention, especially on night shift when you're like half asleep and you're trying to unload trucks and you're not paying attention. I wonder what this load's gonna be worth. I bet it'll be pretty hefty. again. We just got that one last nice little bite in there. Shwink. Oh, satisfying. Very satisfying with these little sticks. Just rolls up real nice. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's go sell this load and see what we got. And I think that'll be the end for this episode. So we got a magical number of 42,000. I think that's our new record so far. So we'll just leave that guy parked there. So when we come back in the next one, what we're going to do is we will attack this pile, probably with this grapple, because God knows I'm not going to try to load it with a dangle head. That'll be a nightmare. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move that dangle head down to the other landing, and we'll use the fixed head to clean this up. We'll probably hit up the buncher in the next episode too, because I got to start back cutting, get a little bit more wood. All right, guys, cool. Well, we will catch you in the next one. See ya.